Option 1 of how to make your braided loops for your bracelets. So like I mentioned before, you've got your threads completely in half, including your chunky cotton thread. Now, if you're right-handed, you're going to pinch with your left, and if you're left-handed, you're going to pinch with your right. So then you're working with your most dominant hand. So I'm right-handed, so I'm pinching with the left, holding halfway. Then the colour that you want your loop, you're going to section out from the rest of your thread. So I'm picking this nice dark purple. Then you're going to go over and through and make a simple slip knot. And you're going to pull that through and you're going to pull it all the way back to where you're pinching. So that finger is holding it roughly around that halfway mark. Now where your finger is pinching is actually the base of your loop. Then with your most dominant hand, so my right hand, you're going to wrap round. So you're wrapping away from you and then pulling it back towards you. And you're keeping it really tight. So it helps to pull this tight, and this thread that you're wrapping with is never being let go. Sometimes I like to go round 2 or 3 times and then just tease the rest out with my hands. And you're wanting your threads to be laid exactly flush next to each other. So no bumps, no gaps, no bulks, so that you have a really nice smooth loop. And this principle is actually one that we'll carry through for all of our braiding today, is making sure we have no bulks and no gaps. So each thread is being laid exactly flush next to the next one. If you're not sure what I mean by flush, so each thread is being laid directly next to each other, not on top, and no gaps. Now, I like to do roughly a centimetre high loop, which means I need to do 2 centimetre length here. And I think that looks about right. Now, a way to test if you've done this tight enough and flush enough is that if I let go of the left hand, it doesn't flop down, it stays outright. So I know that this has the strength that it needs to last many, many years. If your bracelet, when you let go, flops down like so, you want to go back and just tease it through a bit, make sure those threads are pulled nice and tight. Then you wrap it round your finger to bring both ends next to each other. Let me just show you. So then you're gathering up all the threads in your left hand if you're right-handed, and right hand if you're left-handed. So almost looks like a little rainbow. And you're bringing that final thread round and you're pulling it tight. And don't be afraid, you can't pull it tight enough. So then you want to go round 1, 2, 3, pulling that loop nice and tight again to make sure it's all flush, no bulks and no gaps. Then just how we started with a little slip knot, we'll finish with one. So pinching the top of your loop and the rest of the threads in your dominant hand, you go over and back through with your thread, so the thread that you're using, around everything, the cotton thread and all your coloured embroidery threads, and you pull that really, really tight. If you want, you can give it a little squidge up with your nails just to make sure it's flush. Give it a little wiggle, get it into shape. And then I like to do one more slip knot just to make sure it's really in place. I'm one of those people that one for luck. It doesn't hurt when you're making jewellery just to do an extra knot for luck. Okay, and there we go. Option 1 for how to make your loop.